another episode of Riverside Council with me, Caroline Bida. And we're going to talk about addiction. That is, we're going to pick up from where we left last time. Addiction, the effects of addiction to the family and the society, and an individual. And with me today is Madam Susan. So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Susan Rege. I am a marriage and family therapist, and I'm also an addiction counselor. Thank you so much, Karen, for coming.
You're welcome. We were talking about addiction, the effects of addiction, the last episode that we did. So what are the effects of addiction to the society? We talked about the family.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the society.
The society.
What are the effects of addiction to the society?
Oh, there's so many. When you look at our young people who have got substance use disorder, you find that this is the age of hard-working people. But with addiction, the guys you find they are doing nothing. So to the society, let's say it affects so much our economy, because this is the youth who are supposed to build the economy of Kenya. And then if addicted, and they need, in order for them to sustain this habit of addiction, they have to work. But we do know that once you become an addict, there is no way you can work. So what happens, they start stealing. So some of them, it's not like they were born thieves, no, but because they have to sustain this habit, and this is a disease that they have to self-medicate themselves, they are now forced by the circumstances to start stealing. So initially they start stealing from home. Small things, you leave your phone here, mama doesn't get it, and they start maybe with 20 bob. 20 bob was not, it was here on top of the table, it's not there. Mama left a phone there, it's no longer there. They start selling those small things. And it will grow, they continue, and they can start selling even sufurias, utensils. We know of Mama Pima. When they have their own Mama Pima, then you go to Mama Pima's places when you will find all your sufurias are at Mama Pima's place. Because every sufuria, you're gonna kapombe kidogo. So it affects also the society. As in, these are the young people who are supposed to be working for the economy of Kenya, and then all of a sudden they cannot work. They're not strong enough to work anymore, or they are not. They are kind of disabled. Because the first thing they are waking up to remove the lock, as they call it, to lock. So after lock, there is no going back. You continue drinking. So if you don't have, you have to steal. So that affects also the society one way or the other. Church-wise, it will affect. When we're looking at the church looks at addiction from the moral point of view. Sure. That these are not good people, these are not godly. That's why they're behaving like that. So there's also the stigma within the church to the family also, and also to the entire society. When a society becomes a society of drunkards, then we have a problem. Yeah.
Okay, so let me take you back a bit. We talked about the effects of addiction to an individual and to the family, and now we've talked about the society. But let me ask, it causes a lot of damage, psychological damage, rather more than the physical damage, right? Or it's more psychological than physical, or it works both?
Remember, when addiction now kicks in, most people who are addicted, it's not because it was a habit. They were trying to treat something psychologically. But then again, if you did not have a problem, and then you find yourself you become addicted, then it triggers a psychological problem. And some of these psychological problems, we are talking about diseases or mental diseases, like we mentioned last time, and we said schizophrenia or bipolar, or but let's not confuse that. Somebody might be having bipolar that has been undiagnosed. And the behavior of bipolar by itself is destructive, just like addiction. So they tend to do more. When they become manic, they tend to do more about the things we call bad behaviors, which basically would be like too much sex, too much drinking, too much noise, because they are manic. Everything is manic. So now that's a different person. This is a person who has bipolar. But we said also, you might not be having it, but within the family, it could be triggered because you're coming from a family that has mental diseases. So there is also that. So it is true, addiction or substance use will trigger a problem either physically or mentally. That one it will do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is addiction cured, or you've talked about manageable? How is it managed?
Well, to manage addiction, what we do from here, Tranquil Center, when somebody comes or is brought, most of the people who are brought here, they are coerced. I've only met one person who was willing. He just came and he picked and he was willing to fight and continue. But the first thing we do is detox, which is very important, because detox help a client to kind of, it's like your system, your body system is being cleansed. So that's the work of the detox, and also to allow you as the person who has got this problem to just recover in a humane way. Because some of you talk about drugs like heroin, it is very, very painful without a support of detox. So when they come, like alcohol, let me mention alcohol. Alcohol is the most dangerous the most dangerous drug if you try to treat it without detox. This we do know, if we can remember far much back when President Kenyatta brought about the no more mama pimas, and the chiefs were there busy pouring alcohol and chana and what have you, and then they closed all the alcohol dens. A lot of young people died. And I do remember Kabogo by then, I think he was, I don't know what he was by then, but I think he was the leader, I think the governor or something. And he was saying, our young men are dying. What is happening? It's because what they did not realize that there's something called withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal symptoms are diseases, or the symptoms they get. In the morning, that's what they say, kutoa lock. Because in the morning, the body itself is asking for that, for the medication. One is sweating, one is shaking, one has a headache, diarrhea comes in. You become completely sick, completely sick. So without detox, this person can die. So detox is medication that is supposed to help this person go through recovery in a way that you know it's safe. So from detox, we will do the screening. We also do there's some screening we do just to understand whether you're mentally well. So if we find by any chance that this person mentally they are not well, then we bring in the psychiatrist, who is able now to diagnose what is this person having, so that they can also write a prescription. So so that one, we do all that here. We're able to, because we work with psychiatrists and we work with other professionals.
Okay. Madam Susan, someone can prevent addiction.
Yes,
so
right.
how can addiction be prevented?
It's simple to prevent addiction. Don't take drugs. If you don't want to be addicted, don't go there. Yeah, that's the only way to prevent it.
That's the only way, okay.
Yeah.
We talked about the stigma that comes in with addiction, that is in the society, in the family, and also as an individual. I believe there's that the feeling that you get when you're addicted, it's just not right with you.
Yeah.
So how should a society or a family handle such a person, that's the addict?
I think we should take this gospel back in the homes, like you're doing. And tell the family, when you get somebody who is addicted, get help before it's too late. Wacha kuita tabia mbaya. Wacha kusema yule ni mlevi. Wacha kusema hivi. Get help because you do not know. Is there something else besides what we are seeing, addiction? Because what families do, they just, when you go to a family therapy and there is an addict within the family, they don't want to be associated with the session of the therapy. The most challenges we get is that family, you call family, come for session, come for psychoeducation, come for counseling, they will not come. Why? They will just tell you, sisi hatuna shida, mwenye akona shida ni huyo tu, tibu huyo, akishapona shida zetu zote zimeisha. But that is not what happens. Actually, The person who is addicted within the family is the person who is a bit weak. It means within the family unit, there is a problem. And everyone else is able to handle that. But that problem, mwenye anaibeba sana, is the person who is a bit weak. So the problem is not the addict. The problem is within the family unit. So when we call them for family therapy, the more reason they should come, so that they understand what is happening with this person. Another reason why they should come also is because they should know, how do we help this person? Because when this person comes to the rehab and we take care of them, after the so-called 3 months, we take him, he's taken back to the same environment. At a relapse too. Sure. Yeah, because the environment has not changed. How? You still think he's the same thief? You still think he's the same person who was behaving ABCD, and everyone is looking him in a funny way. And because now most people, they don't have this, as you've mentioned, they don't have, their self-esteem is a bit low. Yeah. And because it is low, they know it is low. They know something is wrong. They know they do need help, but whom can they go to seeking help from if the family will not help? The other people who have really let this thing down is the church. Because the church does not want to be associated with anyone who is an addict. Because they see addiction from the moral point of view. You are not spiritual enough. You don't pray enough. Your mother is not prayerful. Your father is like this. And they label the family. And the family is now so stigmatized. So the family ends up isolating itself. So if the family could look at these small signs before somebody becomes an addict, what is happening? Are they taking care of the stress? Can you sit down as a mother or as a father or as a sister, as a brother, and realize that one of the members in the family is a bit too quiet? So if you're able to realize that something is wrong and help, speak out, say something before this stress becomes something else. Handle it from the family point of view. So now, the church also is supposed to help. How? If you find a woman is suffering because the son is like this, or the daughter is like this, or the husband is like this, do not label that woman as, you're not prayerful enough, you're not spiritual enough, but sit down. Pastors, sit down, listen to these families and know what is happening. Don't just pray and decide that, okay, everything is gonna be okay, you're gonna get healed, itabia mbovu yako itatoka, tushaomba na tumetoa mapepo. There's a young man who told me the first place he was taken for prayers, walimwagia mafuta. The mother was told to buy 3 jerrycans of oil. You can imagine cooking oil. 3 jerrycans of 20 liters. Ati alimwagiwa yote. Ya kwanza akitolewa mapepo. Akatolewa mapepo. He was telling me ati alikuwa nasimama kukimbia hawezi anaanguka. So you can imagine all those kind of scenarios where we think that we are doing in a good thing, but we are destroying these people. There's also the habit of beating up these people. Ati akona tabia mbaya, kwa hivyo apigwa alafu afungiwe pahali kuna maji. So why are we punishing someone who is sick? So it doesn't really make sense. So if we started from family, then the church picks up, then I believe we can be a better society. And of course now also there's also the government should do something. We cannot only rely on Mathare Hospital peke yake.
Okay, hold on. We're going to continue with that just after this short break.
You may not have the money, but you have Christ. You may not have the resources, but you have Christ. So let Christ take the reins. But let not that grasshopper mentality kufunge. It is not a must that God is always with the majority. Kuna watu wanasema kwamba when people are majority, Mungu ako upande yao. It is not so. God is not neither in the majority or in the minority. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Continue being faithful to God. Stay in His presence. Read His word. Continue praying. Continue being faithful. Katika your giving and offerings, paying your tithes, continue being faithful. In the fullness of time, Mungu atashuka.
Whereas God may have instructed us to do some things, hear this today, the transport must remain correct. Whatever we begin, whether of God or not of God, it will begin somehow. But hear this, beloved of God, only what Jehovah has authorized will stand the test of time. And me and you as a believer must be careful, because the seductive powers of the devil will always try to come to us to take an advantage of what God is doing to answer our problem.
Welcome back, and we're still going on with our discussion, that is the effects of addiction and how to deal with the stigma that comes with addiction. And Madam Susan is still in the house, and remember you can contribute in today's topic via the number on the screen or in our social platforms, that is Instagram and Facebook, Riverside TV Kenya. So Madam Susan, before we went for the break, we were talking about the government. So how should the government contribute into this?
Oh, the government should take addiction like it has been stated. It is a chronic brain disease. So if it's a chronic brain disease, a disease by itself, then they should build units where they're taking care of these people, or they should come with modalities how to assist these people and these families, because addiction by itself is expensive. Let's just say it's expensive. Yeah.
So it's not exceptional from the other diseases.
It shouldn't. That's my view. It shouldn't be. It should be treated as a disease. Nowadays, they don't even fire people because they are addicts. Because if you fire and it has been declared it's a chronic brain disease, then how do you fire somebody simply because he's an addict? You don't fire someone because he has cancer, do you? Or high blood pressure. So it's the same. So you don't fire someone because, unfortunately, this is still happening. Because if you don't come to work, tabia mbaya, hakujangi kazi.
Okay. And maybe a person has come, let's say, here in the center, yes, and he or she has gone through the process, and but before he or she comes for the rehab, that should come from within. It's not something that someone should be forced into, right?
Now with addiction counseling, that's a bit different. These other counselings, when we are doing therapy, this person is coming and they are coming because they are willing to be helped. But with addiction, I've only seen one who came seeking for help. These other ones, they are lied to. Unapeleka kazi, unaenda sijui wapi, or sometimes we are forced to go and just inject them and bring them here. They don't know. When they wake up in a new environment. So now you start with them from zero. This person comes very angry because he was lied to. Now getting them from there all the way to now admitting that they have a problem, it's another process. But we've been trained and we know how to go about it. Because basically when they come, they are there. Yes, you can just talk to them, and you find that, yeah, they see that there is a problem when you're talking, but they still stand at pre-contemplation. They don't want to move. And that is the hardest part to be. They are very ambivalent. Pale tu, you don't want, you want, you don't want, you want, you don't want. That is where now we start from. So that we do something called motivational interviewing, and now we bring them to realization that they need help. So it takes some time. But during that time, we have already started detox. Immediately they come, detox. So that from there now, after they are through with detox, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks, then they start their sessions.
Okay, so I was saying, if someone has come, if she has gone through the process, and if she feels like I'm okay,
Yeah.
so I can go out there. But the family and the society still paints you that name, that you are still a thief, you still the bad person. How should one deal with that stigma?
When they are coming out of this place, the number one thing, that's what I'm telling you, it's very important for the society to be psychoeducated. What is happening? What is all addiction about? How can we help? So those are very, very important questions. And I like answering those because I'm very passionate when I'm talking about addiction. So when this person is out of this place, we've already given them enough skills. We've already prepared them to what they are going to find there. We've already told them that when you move out of this place, where you did not find a bar, there will be one. That will be your first trigger. Your other trigger will be, kila mtu atakuwa kifuana bado wendi, useless. So how do you handle this? So we empower them with skills. We empower them with techniques, how to handle all that kind of stigma and how to hold themselves pride. And the number one way of holding yourself high, although your pride, is by admitting, yes, I was there, but now I am here. And they'll start coming to fight you, but we've already given you enough skills to be able to stand. However, that does not mean that they do not relapse. Because as any other chronic disease like diabetes or high blood pressure, there is also the chances of relapsing, which is there also very much there in addiction. Because remember, these people do not know how to handle stress. They do not know how to handle depression. So when they go out there, something happens, then they just want something to calm themselves. And the first thing they would want, it's there. If the trigger is there and you can see it and there is no way you can get out of that trigger, it is within the environment, then they relapse. So but before they relapse, we call it lapse, which means that umeanguka tu ni pande moja. So normally we follow them after 6 months, even after they have left, and they would call and say, this is what is happening. Like last week we had one who just called. He was with us here for so long, and then he lapsed. So he called, he said, I have to come back. What is happening? I have lapsed. What has happened? Jana nimekuja. I told him, come. So he came again, stayed here for 1 week. Now he's gone. Coming back, it's coming back and kind of talking about those hard issues. Because when you get out there, remember this is still Kenya. There are no jobs for these people. You are in stress. There's so much that you really need to do. Hii ni COVID imekuja. Hiyo ni stress kiasi. So how do they handle those stress? So like to a normal person, it's easy. Stress comes and you're able to handle it by working through it. But this person may be so stuck. Like if a person has bipolar, they will be so stuck. If you have depression, you are so stuck. You do not know, how do I get from this point to the next point? You are stuck. And to the family member, is like, mbona unajifanya sasa, si nifanya hivi na hivi na hivi. But this person is just stuck somehow. And they just need some time again. But when the family pushes them, again now, the family makes them again relapse. Because they start feeling that, I'm so hopeless. I can't deal with this. Let me just give up. And it's very easy for them to give up and go back to drinking.
So how can you advise someone who has gone through the process of rehabilitation to just hold on to avoid the lapse and the relapsing, to avoid lapsing or relapsing?
Okay, the lapse is the first one before you relapse.
Yeah.
Now, if you are able to handle before you relapse, because there is a training we do here before they leave called relapse prevention. So we teach it here. relapse prevention. So you've already been empowered through that program. However, it's not guaranteed that you're not going to relapse because stressors are out there. But as you go out, should you lapse, call first, come back, take your medication. By medication, what do I mean? You take therapy. Because now you're not going to give you another medication because it's just a lapse. Come and talk about what is happening in your life. What is this that you're not able to sort out? Let's talk about where you feel like you have been fixated.
Okay. So, we've talked about the stigma that comes with the society and the family. But there's also that self-esteem. That I had this problem, but the society or the family cannot still accept that I am a changed person from that place. They still have painted me the bad name, the thief and the bad person. And there's the issue of self-esteem. How should one hold on to make sure that your self-esteem does not come down and that does not affect you?
Yeah, what we do here at Tranquil, we try to teach about self-esteem, self-actualization, the ideal you, and what you're supposed to do when you get out there. Because you are supposed to be you, not the other person. You are supposed to define yourself, not situations. Other people are not supposed to define whom you are. They have a habit of defining you as the addict, you as the person who is doing ABCD, you as the thief. But what do you say you are? Whom do you call yourself? Do you call yourself as they call you? So these are the skills that I'm talking about, that we empower you, and then we try to build you up, to empower you in a way that you feel that now you have got enough self-esteem so that you're able even to stand when you get out there and talk your case boldly, clearly, and confidently.
Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Susan, for your time and for the discussion. And as you have told us, addiction is something that family and the society should talk about it, because it's causing a lot of damage to individuals, to families, and also to the society. Thank you very much for expounding much about that. And please share your social handles where if anyone wants to come for either rehabilitation or counseling, where they can find you.
All right. Should you be having someone who is addicted, or should you be having someone who has got mental challenges? Please do not hesitate to bring them to us. We are called Tranquil Counseling Center. We are located in Utawara at a place called Zebra. Our telephone number is 0725545615. I'm going to repeat that again. Reach us at 0725545615. You can also reach us through 0770783708. I repeat, 0770783708. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching Riverside Council with me, Caroline Pide. And for more on this, you can follow us in our social platforms, that is Instagram and Facebook, Riverside TV KE. And don't forget to subscribe in our YouTube channel, Riverside TV Kenya. Till next time, enjoy the rest of the video.